Yeah, crazy weather, not a good photo.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this is a bad photo. I even feel bad giving it 2 stars.
That's kind of what you just said.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's up, guys? Welcome to the next photo critique. If you'd like to be a part of our next critique, our next contest, the genre is going to be moody images. We're keeping it very vague and broad because we want to get a lot of submissions. First prize, we're putting up $1,000 cash. So it's a big one.
Yep.
Second prize.
We have the PMI Smoke Genie.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this product?
Yes, so they make a small one that I've seen you use.
The Smoke Ninja I did a review on, which is
Okay.
kind of used for photography because it's smaller, but they have the Smoke Genie also can be used for photography, but it would be a little easier to fill a whole room. So maybe if you're doing wider shots or if you do video work. I remember you did one with the guy dancing. We had to plug the smoke machine into the wall.
Right.
Kind of annoying when you're out on location. The Smoke Genie solves all of that. So that's second
It's battery
place.
powered.
Battery powered, yes.
Got
You can
it.
take it on location. And then as always, third place, we're giving away a free tutorial.
And we've
Planning it into your own workflow.
I would suggest everyone, if you can, become a specialist in what you do and, you know, say, I am only a wedding photographer and this is all I do and I'm putting all my focus into that. But when you're just getting started, you need to do everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like this tutorial is really good at giving you confidence to shoot any genre of photographer in any lighting condition with natural light or with strobe light, whatever it might be, Photoshop or natural, you know, whatever. This kind of goes through the entire thing. Normally we sell this tutorial for $300. It's currently for sale for 59 bucks. So by far the cheapest it's ever been. Check it out. I guarantee if you're interested in photography, you will love this tutorial.
And just one more plug, if you know what specialty you love and you want to learn from a specific photographer, we just announced our summer sale. So we have deals on all the tutorials as well. So we're promoting the well-rounded photographer now, but there's something for everybody if you go to fstoppers.com/store. Are you ready to jump into this critique?
What is the genre today?
Today is unique lighting.
Unique lighting.
So our first image is a really interesting portrait using either a gelled light or an LED light, or they have edited this in Photoshop. Does it matter? Can you tell?
I don't exactly know how this was created. And this was taken by Timu Andreas. I believe, wasn't this the guy who won last month's contest? Don't worry, guys. We have a rule. You can only get one first place prize per year. So he is not allowed to win first place again. But love this photograph.
And so not only is it interesting lighting, but like I immediately go to the catch lights. Like, has that been generated in Photoshop, or is he lighting with some kind of star or cross light system?
I'm so confused as to how this is happening. I'm gonna guess that the red is all Photoshop. I don't think it's possible to get lighting like this because you could potentially get it on her chin, under her lip, under her nose, but then there's no way that you can also get it casting down from her hat and then have white light on her face. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say he created a red layer, changed the blending mode to color, created a mask, and then painted out her face. That's what I'm gonna guess he did here, but I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to imagine how I would take this in camera, and having 2 lights in a star pattern would create a fairly wide spread of lights that would be probably soft or have multiple shadows cast.
Yep.
Which would destroy the red light, right?
Yep.
So either the catch lights are totally faked, or have you ever used like a Pocket Wizard where you can shoot 2 images back to back using 2 different lighting setups?
Yep.
Maybe it shot a gelled light and then the other light, and I feel like some masking is going on in this.
Yeah, because even if you did do that, the white light on her would overwhelm the red. You have to have a dark exposure to get that deep red like that. So that's why I think this is all post.
Do you like this image?
I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite of this critique. I just chose the images for this critique. It's one of my favorite. If you guys remember to last month, I think the winning image was the one where he had like the girl holding the skull or something. And
was that his image?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love the weird, creepy facial expression in that one. And then I got another weird, creepy facial expression here. So I think it's great.
It's very futuristic, but it doesn't look like AI.
It's kind of futuristic. And then in another way, it feels kind of like weird Amish horror movie for some reason. What was that M. Night Shyamalan movie where...
The Village?
Yeah. I don't want to... Spoiler alert.
Okay.
But everybody's like...
Can you do a spoiler when the movie's like 15 years old?
It might be older than that. But the whole movie takes place like in olden times, and then at the end you realize it's not in olden times. They're just living in the woods and they didn't know, like...
So you are going to spoil it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we don't know what period she's living in, but I'm going to guess in the last 3 years.
All right, next up.
Are you ready to rate this?
Rate it. 3, 2, 1, 4 stars. It's awesome. I don't know if I can go world class.
Does Temu tell us? Does he reveal how he shot this?
Oh, maybe he does. He calls it another happy accident. Our initial concept fell through because the makeup artist got sick. Rosa, the model, had a big red hat with her, and I thought we could do something interesting with it. Here's the results. Lit with 2 lights, beauty dish in front of the model, and a soft box with a red gel below. So, okay, before I continue, I'm gonna guess. I think the red under her lip and nose, I believe that looks real to me. What does not look real is the red everywhere else. So let's continue reading. I tried to get the lighting as close as possible in one shot, but wasn't satisfied how it looked. So I asked her to hold the pose, and then I took multiple images to get the vibrant red color on her body. Interesting.
But he still hasn't answered, this is a composite? Or he kept working at it?
It's almost, so I just thought the red, at least on the portion of her body, was all done in post, but it sounds like he did get it in camera, but then he just masked her out. So I thought he added red, but instead he just added another photograph. All right, let's move on. I've done a little bit of car photography.
Oh boy, I don't think we're allowed to talk about cars on this channel
Yeah, people
anymore.
get angry. I don't know what type of car this is. He says it's a Spiker C8 Double 12S. Certainly have no clue what that is, but love the lighting on this. Obviously, the genre here is unique lighting. I feel like this is very unique lighting, but I also think this is such a unique angle. Car photography just has a tendency to be the same stuff again and again and again and again. Maybe this shot is done a lot with the, door like that, but I love it. This one immediately stood out to me. And I think it's beautiful.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a car shot like this with the door up from this crop.
It doesn't feel like I have, but I had to have.
Do you want to see any more detail in the middle bottom corner of the exhaust, or is that cool that it goes to black?
The thing that was kind of bothering me was the ground and the background. I was just thinking, does that kind of cheapen it? The car is lit so well. I understand what you're asking, and I'm not answering that yet, but the
Gravel
ground
looks like indoor carpet or something?
Yeah, it kind of looks like the rubber mats that you find at the gym or something. It just doesn't feel... It doesn't feel like this is a finished image to me. It feels like you did all the interesting lighting from all the different angles, you composited it together, and now I'm waiting to see the background composited out. But that being said, I still think it looks good. But the blackness on the back, I feel like is interesting, and for some reason, it's working for me.
All right, you ready?
3, 2, 1.
I'm going 4.
I'm in between a 3 and a 4 on this. I don't know, aspects of it are a clear 4, but then the fact that it just feels like this was taken inside at, some show or something, it just kind of feels a little unfinished to me.
So when we talk about unique lighting, the last image, we had no idea how they did it. This image, we're probably pretty sure on how this was created, right? It's composited with multiple flash pops in different directions.
I believe so.
Do you feel like it's super unique, or it's unique because this is...
At this point, I just don't think there's going to be anything that unique that we haven't seen before. You know what I mean? We've been doing this a long time. Photoshop's been around a long time, so the fact
this isn't just a big softbox.
It might be a big softbox, but it's a softbox lit from 6 different angles. And
do they tell us?
Shot during an international Amsterdam motor show. What a car! Shot using the FDL technique, focused diffused lighting, to give a unique tribute to the car's design.
I stand corrected because I do not even know what the FDL technique is. Is this something that's been branded by a group of photographers?
It sounds like it, but
it's probably a technique we're familiar with, but I've just never called it that.
Yeah, so focused diffused light to me means you take a softbox, you get it very close, you pop, 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 pop different areas of the car, just like we talked about, and then you mask it in Photoshop. This was taken by Thomas Boudouin. Next up. Obviously a unique pose here. This was taken by Jasper Johal. But I really was impressed with the lighting here as well. I mean, I'm even having a hard time figuring out how this was lit. It's like she's being lit from all sides at the same time, backlit, but from like below, from the side, and from above. And it's very confusing to me how this was done.
The lighting on this image reminds me of something that like Gregory Heisler would do, where like he pulls off this really difficult, complex lighting setup that if you're not a photographer, it doesn't call its attention to itself. But then when you really look at it, you're like, wow, what a beautiful way to light something. It's very dynamic. It's got this edge lighting. I love the skin tone of the background. Like everything. This is an incredible photo. Like I really, really enjoy this.
Do you want to? I don't know if he wrote how he did it or not. Do you want to try to guess how this was lit?
I mean, it's got to be multiple lights, right? You can't have a highlight on the left side of her legs and then a highlight on the right side of her. But then it's also hitting her chin. It's like coming from the bottom. Is she? Maybe it's just. Is the background composited? Like he shot something to where the light is all wrapping around because you blew out the background, but then you drop in a background that's not blown out? I don't even know if that makes sense.
I think there's something like that going on. I'm also wondering if the light, like the uplighting on her, is just a bounce off the ground, and he's got hard lights firing into a white seamless, and it's just creating soft uplight on her. But if that's the case, I mean, like, look at how much brighter the light is under her chin than it is on her toes. So it's very difficult for me to believe that this was all taken with lights above her.
Yeah.
Because if the light above her was hitting her toes and the ground, it wouldn't be able to bounce up that bright on her.
Is there a chance she is on like sawhorses that are like, when you do product photography, you'd suspend your product on a table, but then if you lit the ground behind that table, with the background far enough away, you're getting like the nice spill and bleed over from that light, but then the background's, do you understand the setup I'm trying to say? Like this is all like a table or something?
Yeah.
But that seems crazy to put a child on a table like that, but maybe you have a set person.
There's also some weird, like if you look at her thigh and you look at her arm, it does kind of feel like she was cut out and placed on this background. So I can't exactly put my, and then also see the weird like vignetting in the upper left and the bottom right. And then look at the way her hand is so blown out down there. And then we have that like rich vignette in the bottom right. Like something just doesn't feel natural to me. I mean, from a photography standpoint, it's almost perfect. I don't think any normal person would ever be thinking the things that I'm thinking, and I didn't even think about it when I first saw it. It just was like, this is awesome.
We are setting ourselves up to look really silly.
You think he's just like, yeah, just put a big light in the back.
Maybe.
All right, here we go. I wanted the drama of lighting to match the drama of her contortion pose, hence the precise rim lighting paired with a shaft of light on the background. I placed a bare strobe head with a deep reflector on the top right to rim her legs, and also to create the perfect little patch of illumination around her eyes. It highlights the closed eyes, showing how serene and calm she is while holding such an extreme backbend. Lighting is with Broncolor Studio strobes and shot with a Canon 5DS.
So he explains the highlight up here in the corner.
Yeah, that's it.
But
that's it.
What is going on with, one, where is this light on her abdomen? And then her chin. Like, those are other lights that don't make sense from having a light up on the top, right? There's got to be...
Jasper, you gave us just enough to piss us off, but you didn't answer any of our questions. Yeah, something's not right with this image, but I love it for that. Are you ready to rate it?
I am.
3, 2, 1.
I'm giving it the 5.
Okay.
Like, I'm looking at this.
I'm not upset by that.
I'm looking at this and just saying, like, man, this is just a beautiful piece of art. Like, in so many ways. Like, what she is doing is beautiful and graceful. And the color, I just love the color scheme. The fact that this is all, if this was any other color in the background, it wouldn't do it for me. You know, the fact that, I remember we went to Gulf Photo Plus once out in Dubai, and they had a series where they took pictures of people's faces, but the background was the Pantone color of their skin. Do you remember? I don't know if you saw this.
I don't remember.
And I just remember thinking, like, what a brilliant idea, and it just, the portraits look so cool, and it was this montage of all of these hues of color, you know? This reminds me of that, and it's just a really good use of color. 5. I give this a world class.
Next up.
I always feel like I have to zoom in more to images now to just double check if they're AI. Does she have all 5 fingers?
Yeah. I was telling you the other day how I almost never get on Facebook anymore, but when I do, it's just weird AI photos. And it like a lot of them are these weird religious type photos that I guess are tricking like grandma. Okay. And it'll be like Jesus like over somebody in a hospital, or it'll be like a kid making a Jesus sculpture out of sand. But you look at it and you're like, this is obviously AI. And then you look and it'll have like 1.5 billion likes. It'll have 1,000 comments, and you read the comments and it'll be like, in Jesus' name, bless us all.
It makes you feel like they're all getting fooled by this image.
I don't know.
The number one comment should all be, this is AI.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so crazy what Facebook has become now. That, yeah, I just assume everything I'm seeing.
I saw a picture of where's that, Santorini, Greece?
I saw that too.
With the river and all, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait to
visit Greece."
And I'm like looking at it, thinking like, I don't think they have this kind of like lazy river running through the scene. And then you zoom in, and you're like, everyone's got crazy arms
and hands coming out of their faces, and then this person has 5 arms.
It's people's response to the image that's like mind blowing me. It's like what is happening with our world?
I know, it's crazy.
I don't know if this is one of those images or not. Have you seen the photos of, I'm sure a lot of people do it now, but they get like a macro wide angle lens inside like a guitar or an instrument.
Yeah.
And it makes it feel like this feels like that.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm looking into
that.
something that is relatively small, but they've used a macro lens that's wide angle and gives a weird perspective to where it doesn't make sense that the human's in there, but like this is like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This woman is shrunk down into some, what would this be? Like a fencing mask or something? I don't know. Like it's, I don't know. But then you also go to places like in New York where you have the crazy architecture that feels like it's from Alien World or something.
This was taken by Sarah Goley, and this was taken during Corona in Tehran, Iran. The photo is a black and white image of a person standing in a dark room under a dome.
Do you see those pictures Mike Kelly just shot in Kuwait
No.
of like the tennis center?
No.
This is where he went right after we did our ski trip.
Okay.
It's like the Rafael Nadal Tennis Center in Kuwait.
Okay.
It's stuff like this, but there's like a tennis court in there. And you're
Okay.
like, what is going on?
All right, you ready to rate this?
I am.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. I think it's a solid image, not blowing me away. I think it's
I just
all
don't
right.
know like what, it's kind of like fine art, conceptual art. It's not architecture. I'm struggling with what kind of portfolio does this go into?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It looks good. I love the spot focus and the black and the use of, highlights and composition, but I'm just kind of not really sure what to make of it.
Next up.
Is this unusual lighting or unusual styling?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like unusual styling, unusual shutter speed, unusual camera movement, lighting. I don't really know. But
We used to have a writer, Julia Kuzminko Kim, and she used to take photos like this. It was more beauty-centric, but kind of like this. And her images are all freaking world-class. Like, they're so good.
yeah.
This reminds me of her work.
All right, you ready to rate it?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Going 3, you're going 4. I'm not offended by a 4. I think it could be excellent.
This is just the type of image that if I'm scrolling through someone's Instagram that's wildly successful as a photographer, especially in like the fashion type of world, like this image fits that portfolio. If your whole portfolio is images of this caliber, I'm not saying like the glitter and everything, but I feel like this is an amazing like this isn't something you just messed around with in your studio and came up with, right? Like this involves a team. You put all this glitter on a girl, the hairstyle, like when you really look at it, there's so much styling that goes into this that I feel like that's what makes it feel
Imagine
high
what
end.
this girl had to do to get this off. Just in her hair alone.
She's committed. Or she was
I
paid,
just feel
she was
like
paid very well.
you gotta shave your head after this. This was taken by Mark Tew, and although he did write a paragraph, he wrote nothing about the lighting. He just said he wanted to do a shot with glitter. But I don't feel like the lighting is that unique here. I feel like he's got 2 backlights on either side with a yellow tone, and then he's got a more white
Beauty
light
dish
in
or
the front,
something, like,
yeah.
from the front. And
All right.
then what is it? Just he's dragging the shutter with hot lights on, or
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
do you have like a long? I've been doing a lot of videos on flash duration. Is there
Yeah.
a chance that you can get a slow flash duration and drag your shutter in a way
No.
to create
No.
this with no?
No, I don't think. Unless the camera was flying through the air at a rapid pace.
All right, next image.
This was actually the highest rated image of the entire critique.
This reminds me of like Brian Rogers Jr. He's a product photographer.
Well, he's coming up soon because he submitted an image as well.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see his image, but this reminds me of the type of compositing that he does. He doesn't shoot people, but like all of this blurred explosion with out of focus depth of field.
Yeah. Now the question is this unique lighting? It's really not at all. But interesting image. Like I said, it was the highest rated by the community, so obviously they don't care. I think it's a good shot. There's something about her exploding, like her shoulder area, that just doesn't feel like it's been photoshopped very well.
I totally agree.
It just kind of feels like they did this pretty quickly.
I want to see like a part of her hand coming out of it,
Yeah.
or something to where it feels like this is just 2 images stacked up, and I wonder how the top layer was photoshopped.
Well,
or photographed. Is this a real photo, or is this some weird rendering that you've then put on top of an image that you took?
This was taken by Zoltan Tot. He does not explain how he did it. So, I don't know. I feel like it's a cool image, but as I mentioned in the last critique now, and this is just kind of the sad truth of our industry, is I have been photoshopping my product into artificial intelligent generated images.
And they look good?
I mean,
They look good to you. You're like, my
no, I
mind
can
is
show you some of
blown.
these. Like I can't reveal it to you guys yet.
Okay.
But like the ones that you showed in the last video, You were like,
was I supposed to not show those?
no, you could. That was like my current product. This is the new product.
Oh.
You were like you said, yeah, they look okay, but they still kind of look photoshopped in there. Like I feel like these look pretty freaking good.
Yeah, like the color grading and stuff looks way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks way better. Yeah. I mean, the other ones look pretty good. Like you said, better than your competition.
Oh
but
my
from
gosh,
a photography standpoint, you're still like, I see where it's not.
Yeah.
Those look really good. Are those too over the top?
I mean, I
got like blue flames coming out of hot sauce and stuff.
I've got like 30 of them. So,
but maybe that's what it takes in today's market to capture some attention.
We'll see. So I've told you guys before, like I got this crazy hot sauce business. I'm creating a product for mass market. I'm gonna be selling in stores and on Amazon and stuff. I'm not quite ready to launch it yet. That's the reason why I can't show you that. I can show you my other ones. But soon, maybe in like 2 months. 2 months. They will all be out.
Next year.
You might be right. You might be right. It's such a slow moving process. But the bottom line is like shots like this 6 months ago, a year ago, I'd be like, no way, that's amazing. She's turning into feathers or whatever. Now I see this and I'm like, I could create this in like 10 minutes using Discord, Midjourney, Photoshop, and give me an image of some girl dancing, and I'm just gonna drop it in, make a mask, blur it out, and like it's done. Because I've made so many of these images now that it's just, my standard is just so high.
I feel like we need to have a shootout soon where we create some very simple asset, but then we have to turn it into something.
That could be a great video.
You probably beat me at this now. Like I've done some AI stuff, but I haven't gone through the compositing world.
Yeah.
But so we've just set all of that to the highest rated image. Do we want to rate this thing? Sounds like this isn't going to sit as high.
Not for me, but I mean, it's not bad. 3, 2, 1, I'll go 3 stars. Yeah. It's good. It's just not my favorite of the critique. Next up, so this one was also taken by Mark Tew. I didn't realize that when I was picking these images.
Back-to-back images?
No. He was the one who did the glitter girl.
Okay.
And then he did this girl as well. So he likes color, which is cool. Very
different styles. Like,
yeah.
If I saw these I have seen these side by side. I wouldn't think it's the same photographer.
Are you ready to rate it?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
4, 3.
I don't know. It's in between a 3 and a 4. There's something. I mean, obviously, I love the lighting. I love the mixed lighting coming in on either side. I love the play on the color. But he says he was just wandering around the city with one of his close friends and they got this cool shot. But this girl looks cool. Like, she's got the look. I like her facial expression. Interesting glasses. I like the messy hair for this photo. So it's working for me. It feels like an image that more work and thought was put into than it probably was, which is great.
Yeah, you think he just went to this diner that may or may not have had neon
He said he
lights?
was just wandering around the city.
Oh, what I'm saying is like he shot this with a super wide open lens, and then is it manipulated? Like I look at her hair and the blue versus the purple. It's such a.
It's too good.
Yeah, it's like you just took the white balance in 2 different directions and then like brushed it in. Is how it feels.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering on a different scale is the whole background neon or not neon at all? Like this is an effect that you've added.
Yeah, now that you mention it, so if you look at the hair that's covering her face, look at how like it's blue and then it just goes to like brown right in the middle. And then look at her camera left shoulder. Look at the way the red is going across her shoulder like that. I just feel like maybe this is all fake and they just, added some color on, which is fine. But
I mean, at what point does this matter? As AI images become more common and they have more glitches in them, and as our workflows
have
become
less glitches, but yeah, keep going.
Well, I'm saying is more strange anomalies, maybe not glitches, but it starts to look strange and unusual. And have we reached the point where like we are pumping out so many images and everyone's attention span is so short that it doesn't have to be done perfectly anymore? I mean, it should for your portfolio. If you have to sit here and look at the image, I want this to be as good as possible. But if this is just a screensaver on your TV to promote the next, what's the HBO show, Euphoria or something, like, does anyone care about these things we're pointing out?
No, nobody cares. Nor do I. Let's keep moving.
Keep going. This is a technique I've wanted to play around with more. I have that Westcott Lindsay Adler snoot spotlight. I always forget the name of it, but it allows you to use curtains and shades to perfectly focus your light into very like strange shapes, and that's what this is. And I always used to think, remember how many times have we wasted in the studio putting up V-flats trying to do this effect?
Yeah.
Not realizing that it's just impossible or just way easier to focus the light with a very specialized light modifier. But I've never shot anything quite like this using that light.
Now, wait a minute. Are you saying this is real lighting?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how they did this lighting. They have two soft boxes on either side of them, your favorite 45 to 45 degree light, maybe a little off to the side, gelled blue, which makes him entirely like the silhouette, crazy looking, side lit person. And then you use this spotlight right above the camera to make the slit.
Okay.
And that is gelled warm or maybe standard white balance. There's a photographer that I follow on Instagram and Facebook. His name's Nicholas Freeman, I believe. And he does stuff like this, but it's always naked girls. And it's not as clean as this. I think they're always black and white. But he uses some kind of spotlighting effect, the same sort of light modifier, where he is able to focus the light and add these crazy like angles, or sometimes he makes it look like clothing, or he hides the nudity in like the perfect way.
All right, so I pulled up one of his images here.
Oh, he entered the contest.
We need to add him to the contest because I didn't see this image before. This is awesome.
Okay.
So
okay, he's in the community. Okay.
You're being added, Nicholas.
I've seen this before. She's a comedian, I believe, that he works with a lot.
Really?
It's like his muse, maybe, but some of the images he's produced, like this doesn't look that crazy compared to the stuff on his Instagram. He produces stuff where there's like lines everywhere and they're backlit in interesting ways. But
I love this. This is super cool. Should we rate this one?
Okay, well, we're getting off track here, but this is a similar style, but in color form using, I feel like this might be a little more straightforward. I think I can reverse engineer this image where some of Nick's images, I have no idea how he's doing it.
This one was taken by Bill Larkin, and he did not explain any of his lighting, but it sounds like you figured it out.
Luckily, I did. So
yeah, my critique was about to be,
please,
if you're gonna do this in Photoshop, you need to make the strip of light a little softer because it's so sharp right now it doesn't look real. And then you're telling me it is real.
So I think if you were to do this in Photoshop, and I think I have done this in Photoshop, you would need to do what he's doing where you offset the lines on the chin and the face so that it's 3D. You wouldn't want this line perfectly straight running down the body, right? You'd want it to have this break right here at his neck, and it needs to be feathered slightly, like it's sharp, but it's not perfectly sharp.
Yeah, from this distance it looks sharp, too sharp, but interesting, done perfectly in camera. Let's rate this.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I go 4. I feel like this isn't that uncommon. Maybe I need to step back from the lighting and like think of his expression and what he's doing and the weird like lettering on the underwear. Like maybe there's a few elements that could be tightened up a little bit, but
I also think I might prefer this just without the strip of light, just be blue and black.
You just want to see more of the naked dude's chest?
That's all I want to see, bro. But back to Nicholas Freeman's image. I love this shot. Such an interesting concept to make the shadow look like a dress,
How did he get the side of the breast to be lit like that?
That's fake.
You think?
Yeah, he did that with dodging and burning for sure.
So how do you think this lighting is? Because I know he uses sometimes 4, 5, 6 different little, I wish I knew the name of the brand, Bowen's lights, or some kind of like light that, it might even be hot lights. But how do you think he lit this? Because this could be 5 lights, this could be 1 light, I don't know. There's definitely a light on the background, right? Start there. He's lighting a canvas.
There may be a light on the background. I mean, I guess there's a chance that the light on her is lighting the background. I'm gonna guess that all he really had to do was just, light on the background, light on her with some sort of cookie cutting her chest, and then he doesn't have to do anything for the bottom half. And then, if he wants to dodge a little of the highlights around her chest or whatever,
I mean, there's like a highlight on her hip there. I don't know.
I
don't
think
know
that's natural light off of the background.
Fill off the studio or something?
Yeah, but then her chest, that's not real because her arms would be blocking that. Yeah, but I think it's cool.
Does he explain his lighting setup?
This image of an actress, comedian, blah, 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 lit with aperture LED lights, 1 LED light in an optical spot, and 4 in copy light for background. I don't know what that is. The image is mostly straight out of camera with the exception of some skin tone evening and blemish removal. And some enhancing on the chest, Nicholas.
4 inches, I think. 4-inch copy light.
Super cool image. Let's rate this. 3, 2, 1. I'm in between a 4 and a 5 on this. Like, I really like it. What'd you give it?
I give it a 4.
Okay.
I feel like he's got a lot of 5-star images. I mean, there's another one of his images there where...
Oh, wow. That's another person's face.
But even that is like not as... I'm telling you, you got to go look at his Instagram because he has...
just show his Instagram.
Man, Nicholas just got like the biggest promotion of the whole thing. But I'm familiar with his work and I find it extremely interesting.
All right, next. All right, this is an interesting one. This image was taken by Brian Rogers Jr. He's an incredible product photographer. We did a tutorial with him called the Hero Shot. You can check it out on fstoppers.com/store. However, this image, and we didn't plan this isn't from that tutorial. This is from the tutorial that we're doing the huge discount on called the Well-Rounded Photographer. So I actually was not here for this section of the tutorial. I helped film other parts of that tutorial, but not this section.
Same with me. I think David Strauss went up to shoot this. So neither one of us know how this image was created, but we've worked with Brian enough to know how he probably did it.
Well, and the funny thing is, I mean, there's a lot of questions I still have, and I should have the answers because it's literally
about photography or about like in general?
And life.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of lighting with this type of photography that you could never figure out by looking at it because so many different images are composited together that you would never be able to say, oh, there's a softbox on the left. Yeah, there's a softbox on the left, right, up, down, behind, in front. Everywhere there's a softbox and it's all been blended together. There's no way we can answer that. But I'm really interested to know, how did he get the water to look like this? I mean, is this water just in a pan, like a big cookie sheet?
That's what I would guess.
Is it deeper than that? Is the pan black? How does he get it to where it's not see-through? How did he make it look like the ocean like this? And then that spray that's going on in the background, what is that? I don't even know. And it's so funny because this is from a tutorial that we sell and I don't know the answer.
Like if you look at the left side, it almost feels like the water's going up. It doesn't feel totally
Well, it feels
flat.
like a rainstorm or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like everything's moving and blowing, so I don't know.
My guess, and we could prove how wrong we are because we have this tutorial for sale, but I would guess that this is a fairly shallow pan and it's so shallow that the product will sit, or he's like put like a little block of wood or something just to suspend it up high enough. And then would he have like a fan running and having somebody with a stick just to like make the water turbulent, and then you just take a bunch of shots for the water? And then I would imagine that the water droplets that are coming up off the product, they were shot at a separate time.
So Brian does not say how it was photographed. Probably, again, it's so complicated, I don't think he could explain it in a few paragraphs, but he says it was for the tutorial. You guys can buy it right now, $59. Cheapest it's ever been. Normally we sell it for $300. So now I'm kind of curious. I want to go back and see how this was made. But he says it's one of his favorite product photos he's ever taken. And honestly, this is going to sound like a knock to him in this photograph, but it's not. I feel like he has one of the strongest portfolios of any photographer we've ever worked with. Like every single one of his shots is like a 5-star image. This is one of my least favorite photographs of his. I still think it's great.
Yeah.
But I just don't think this is as good. I think the fact that it's just so dark and all so blue that it just, this product doesn't pop like every one of his other shots. So I like it, I don't love it. You want to rate it?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 4 stars. Sorry, Brian, can't give it 5, but.
I love it. I think it's one of the strongest images.
Next up. Interesting shot. We've got some smoke. The smoke is creating those cool God rays.
Is it smoke, or you're the God ray king? Has it been done in an effects processor, you know, some kind of editor?
I think that's real smoke.
The king would know.
I ruin more photographs with fake God rays than anyone.
It is like, maybe I'm just like I'm really clean in certain parts of my life, but then other areas of my life where I like to work and dabble and tinker, I am a disaster, right? It is wild to me to see a workshop like this where this guy's working on a car and stuff, but it still feels relatively clean, you know? I could just imagine, like, I have a couple friends that do this sort of stuff, and like their workspace would look like mine, where crap everywhere. Just the hammer, it's an organized chaos, you know?
Yeah, there's a few problems that I have with this. First of all, my biggest problem with this image, I don't think I like the color grading.
It's too blue, it's too much.
Too tealy. It just feels weird to me. Like, it feels like you push the teals in one direction, so now I want, you know, give me some more oranges in the highlights or something, but they forgot to do that, and we just have the orange of the headlight. So I don't like that. And then the other thing, the mechanic, or whatever this guy is doing, like, the way he's dressed and his pose and his facial expression feels very fake to me. It doesn't feel like a real mechanic. It feels like this is super posy. And then, like you said, the space is just kind of dirty, but it's not dirty enough. And like him wearing long sleeve flannel shirt, it just doesn't seem to fit with me. I'm not buying that he's a motorcycle mechanic. He probably is.
Yeah, I don't know if any of that stuff bothers me. What I keep going to, there's two things that are bothering me. I mean, the white balance color grade is one. The other two things that stand out to me is the God rays and the light coming from outside is so bright that this feels like this should be a late afternoon shot, but instead it's edited to feel like a moonlit shot. And I don't know that I've ever seen moonlight so bright where it's creating God rays, unless like there's the rapture outside happening or the aliens are coming down to abduct your neighbor. It feels like there's something about it where I'm like, this is a nighttime shot, but like there's too much sunlight or moonlight coming out through the windows. And it's like messing with me. And then the work lamp above the motorcycle, I would imagine would be one of the brightest lights in the room. Like he's not gonna be working on the motorcycle in the pitch dark, right? But like,
Apparently,
I want more warmth and that light to be warmer and to like be lighting the workspace a little bit more. I don't know. It feels like a photographer trying to make an image that's super moody, but it.
What do you think about cropping at something like that?
I've been thinking about the crop too, like the whole right-hand side. I keep going to this lathe or, you know, it's some kind of buffer. I don't know what that is. And it's not in focus. It's like out of focus too. And I'm just like, I don't want to go there, but my mind does. So maybe you're right. Like, but then, if you crop it too tight, it almost feels like he's working on like a toy car because it's like on a tape. I don't know.
All right, let's rate it. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna be rough and go 2. I mean, it's not 2, it's at least 3, but like with just a couple of tweaks, especially with the color grade to me, I just feel like easy 3.
I wish I could crop it vertically.
Yeah, I thought about that, but I feel like you do want that one window in there.
Do you feel like this is salvageable with the file itself, or you need to have shot it differently to make this?
Okay, here's some interesting, so.
There is a rapture going on outside?
Yep, this is the end of the world in this photo. This was taken by Oliver Suckling. He said, this is a portrait of Sam, a custom motorcycle builder. So it is not somebody's buddy, like it's the real deal. And this was taken alone in his workshop. So it's not some fake set, it is really his thing. And then, the thing that shocked me the most, that light coming through the window is actual sunlight.
Okay, I mean, that makes sense, but it's still color graded to look dark, and that's where I'm getting the disconnect. Like, what if this shot was graded in the opposite direction, and it was very warm, and all the wood tones were
I think I would like that better.
I think I would too.
I think.
I don't know. That'd be this would be interesting to like revisit this and just go in the opposite direction, make it warmer, and just play with the colors. See how that turns out. But all right, next image. Okay, now we are super warm. What is going on in this photo?
Yeah, it looked like...
Is this like a ghost, or is like a...
like some sort of vortex.
Yeah.
We're going horizontally across. I had to choose it just because I didn't know what the hell was going on here. I don't think it's as crazy as what it looks like. I think it looks like twisting
it's like a...
clouds, but I think what's really happening is it's literally just a band of fog and then God rays breaking up the fog from the trees. I think that's what's happening. This was taken by Ashani Niyogi. Foggy morning at a neighborhood park. I was out for birding, but it was still foggy. Took this photo while waiting for the fog to clear. Nothing to it. The question is this is an interesting weather experience. Is this a good photograph?
I feel like when you really start looking at where this was taken, I feel like she did a very good job of capturing something that is photographic and salvageable to some degree, you know, but you still can't overlook the fact that you just weren't in the right place at the right time for this that's not even the right way to say it. This happened here. This can't be reproduced, but it just happened in an unfortunate location, right? I mean, I keep wondering, what if you just like make this a vertical image, cut off the whole left side, get rid of anything that makes it feel like you're at a park, and make it just all about those trees, but then does that make that little band look even crazier? You see what I'm saying?
I was even thinking the opposite.
Get
Crop
rid of
in
the
and
trees?
then cut some of the trees on the... I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't know. I chose this image specifically because of the wacky lighting and the fog, but in terms of a photograph, I don't know, there's elements of this that I'm like, yeah, I could print this and hang this on my wall. It's kind of cool. But then the other part of me is like, no, there's nothing going on in this thing that's good. I don't know.
So I don't know if these are
it.
like little faucets or something, but would you would you Photoshop these out to clean it up and simplify
I don't know. I don't know if that's a problem for me. Let's rate it. 3, 2, 1.
I'm kind of like a 2 on this.
I know it's
but
painful.
it's so cool and unique, but it's just one of those like, is this gonna live in your portfolio of landscapes or beautiful scenes or? And we've all been there. How many times have you pulled out your phone or a professional camera and you've taken the craziest event you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Maybe you see one of those like water spouts and you captured it, but then you're like, man, I was in a bad spot to do it.
Yeah, crazy weather, not a good photo.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this is a bad photo. I even feel bad giving it 2 stars.
That's kind of what you just said.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's okay. And this is the final image of the critique.
I have never drank a Monster Energy drink in my life.
Me either.
Really?
Yeah. So
you're in that world. It seems like you're doing jujitsu and you'd be pounding energy drinks and wearing the Affliction shirts and stuff. No,
I think
not
that's
your ultra life.
MMA. That's not jujitsu. I talked to somebody recently and they said that what did they say? There was something like Monster licenses some patent or some chemical from some other company to put it in their drink.
It's like the taurine from the Red Bull or something.
I don't know, but they were...
Oh, it says taurine right there. Is that...
There is some theory that there's something
I don't know what taurine is.
addicting in this drink that is like beyond caffeine or nicotine or whatever, but like the FDA has not caught on to it. Somebody was telling me this theory.
Did you know if you take the taurine and you take off the TA? That's what's so addicting.
Oh, it's so good.
Somebody wrote recently on a post, it was like, it's not reasonable to drink my own urine, but I like the taste.
What?
I don't know. It's something I just read that relates to taurine.
This was taken by David Shorkey.
Gosh, this little like scene that this is in is so freaking cool.
I placed the can on a glass sheet, illuminating it from underneath with a RGB light and a piece of diffusion, giving it a green glow. My goal was to create a kind of smoky night scene. I also experimented with adding the moon in the background, but settled on keeping the light out of the frame. Very minimalist Photoshop work. I had to reduce the amount of light on the background. It took too much attention, but noticed it only in post-production.
What is this background?
Yeah, he didn't really explain that.
Is he in the forest? Is it like burnt? Is like a macro shot of like burnt cigarettes? Like it's got this like weird. It feels like wood, but then it feels like rock. How did he create?
I feel like
the monster scratches.
Yeah, he didn't really explain that.
I mean, this reminds me of what you are doing. You are taking a product shot of your hot sauce and then compositing it into some scene.
Yeah.
And this kind of feels like it could be AI.
Yeah.
It's done better than that, but...
hey, wait a minute.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I don't know. Would AI create, like, the green scratch?
No,
I mean,
they wouldn't be able to create the logo that good. Let's rate it. 3, 2, 1. 4 stars. It's great. There is some funny business going on in that, like directly above the can. It's like the green glowing through the bark. Doesn't look great, but...
Oh, see, I didn't even notice there is a green highlight in the background.
Yeah.
I almost would desaturate that and make, like... I mean, that's nitpicky. Like, I don't know that... You're saying these right here, though, in the wood.
Yeah. I think it's really well done.
Do you like the flare? Does that look a little Photoshoppy?
It does look like a fake lens flare to me.
I wonder if you could make that green and then put that edge as green. Or it's too much green.
I think he's trying to mimic moonlight in the background.
Yeah.
You know, you want that white light from behind, that's the moon. Green light coming up from the logo below. I think it's cool. That wraps up this critique. If you would like to be a part of the next one, head over to fstoppers.com/contest. We're doing moody lighting. And if you want the lowest price ever for our tutorial, the Well-Rounded Photographer. Is that the name of it?
The Well-Rounded Photographer.
Okay. I really don't like that name, and we spent so much time coming up with that name. But anyway, we've got like all of the best instructors we've ever worked with all in one tutorial. If you're interested in photography in general, but you don't really know, like, do I want to get into product photography? Do I want to get into fashion photography or portrait photography or headshot photography? Get this tutorial. You'll learn a little bit of everything from everybody. And what's also super cool about this tutorial is you'll learn how much of what everybody does is somehow related, like either lighting wise, Photoshop wise, coaching people wise, making clients feel comfortable, finding, you know, your own voice as a director on set and like taking charge of the scene. It's just like everybody works in a little different way.
But if you can take all that information together, the big one is like architectural photography or product photography. Lighting things and then compositing it in has changed the way that I approach portrait work, like all kinds of other styles of photography, because as a wedding photographer, I never knew that you could just light something with one light and then composite it so easily.
Yeah.
And you know, if I knew that when I was doing a lot more wedding, like I would have had some really cool images. We still have to give away the Pro Photo soft
we
boxes.
have prizes.
Yes.
All right, third place and winner of a free tutorial from the Fstoppers store. I'm gonna go with Mark Tiu, this glitter girl shot. Interesting shot. Love the fact that you dragged the shutter, making it even more interesting. This poor girl, you ruined her life. You know when you just drop a little glitter in your house?
Yeah.
It's like the vacuum won't get it up. Like, what did this girl have to do to clean her,
you ever had
her
a glitter
whole
bomb
life?
go off?
I haven't had a glitter bomb go off.
They're a
no.
nightmare to clean up.
All right, so send me a private message on fstoppers.com. Let me know which tutorial you would like.
So second place, the prize is a kind of rectangular softbox from Pro Photo, but they're calling it the new Pro Photo softbox.
Okay.
And the new Pro Photo softbox has the built-in speed ring, so where you can just snap it open really quickly.
No more sticks falling out.
No
more. You know, I don't know if it was Pro Photo that did this, but one of these companies, they made the sticks like made of iron, and it would feel like you were breaking your hands to snap them in the speed ring.
5 foot and 7 foot octaboxes where they have like 7 ribs. They're the hardest ones to build. But this one is, what is the prize? It's like a 2x3, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to award that to the car photographer. Maybe having a larger softbox would allow you to continue to do more work like this.
Cool.
I think having a large softbox and a small one is kind of useful for this kind of composite work.
Thomas Boudwin, congratulations. First place is going to receive 2 different ProPhoto softboxes, 1 Octa, 1 strip box, but then a ton of different modifiers that go on it as well.
Last critique, you gave your favorite image the #1 prize. I'm gonna do the same thing. I think this girl, contortionist, dancer, whatever this is, this shot, I mean, this is my favorite of the whole critique. So is this Jasper Jahal?
I believe so. Jasper, congratulations. This shot is incredible. And I'm still confused as to how it was lit. When you send me a private message with your shipping information, let me know how this was lit. I must know.
We need a lighting setup with all the drawings and everything.
Something's not adding up for me.
Because I keep thinking if I could replicate this lighting and maybe we get you on the table, like I could make the same image. That would be,
Absolutely.
that would make me feel good.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Join the next critique at fstoppers.com/contest. See you next month.